In 2021, the Watertown organization Pixcussit Initiative submitted a petition to the City Council to rename the area of Watertown Square named for Christopher Columbus. The matter was referred to the Council's Committee on Public Works for consideration. On Tuesday, April 18th, city officials met to discuss the petition for the first time, but the issue is not quite yet resolved. News Director Daniel Hogan reports.
In the heart of Watertown Square is a large grass area where residents can often be seen hosting candlelight vigils, holding political signage, or just hanging out, having a good time, watching the Charles River as long as the honking horns and traffic don't bother them too much. The Columbus Delta was the subject of a subcommittee meeting earlier this week. After almost a year and a half ago, a petition was submitted to the City Council to change the name of the Delta to something a bit more inclusive. Watertown city officials are supporting a petition to unname the Delta in Watertown Square named for Christopher Columbus, but uncertainty remains about how to proceed.
The first step I think we want to do is sort of think about the process. We would have to the council actually have to vote to unname the square.
In December of 2021, the Pixcussit Initiative submitted a petition signed by over 150 residents to the City Council clerk asking the council to begin a process to reconsider the name of the Delta.
I know there are some Indigenous people still living in the area who feel strongly about this, and I think it's important to keep in mind everybody that we want to have be included in our community.
During a special City Council meeting in June of 2022, councilors voted to refer the issue to the Committee on Public Works, who met on April 18th to discuss the issue for the first time. The City Council does have the authority to unname any public square or intersection that is not named after a veteran if it is determined that the public interest is no longer being served. Chair of the committee and City Council Vice President Vinnie Piccirilli prepared a series of questions to determine that.
How was the Watertown Columbus Delta named? There was a special town meeting on December 12, 1939. On a standing vote, 85 were in favor and 59 opposed, and it was voted that the Delta in Watertown Square be named the Columbus Delta. The stone was actually dedicated by the Knights of Columbus, Watertown Council number 155.
Although the meeting was not a public forum, residents were allowed to answer some of the questions and provide additional input.
I think we should actually be embracing the Columbus Delta, using it as a bedrock and saying this is our history.
Communities across the country are moving to change from Columbus Day to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day for a reason.
The councilors ultimately voted in favor of unnaming the square, but questions remain about what to do with the marker that sits at the front of the Delta, which was donated by the Knights of Columbus many years ago.
The problem with that motion is the only place that the designation for the Delta as the Columbus Delta is on the monument that was donated by the Knights of Columbus. So if we remove the name, by definition, the DPW would have to remove the monument.
I mean, I don't see why you're insisting that we can't separate the two.
Your motion, since the committee to proceed with unnaming of the Columbus Delta, continue to another meeting with the administration on how to deal with the marker.
Fine.
So moved.
At the onset of the meeting, City Councilor Tony Palumba, who sits on the Public Works Committee, did acknowledge, per the recommendation of the city attorney, that he is involved with the Pixcussit Initiative's parent organization, Watertown Citizens for Peace, Justice, and the Environment. Now, this matter will be taken up again at a future Public Works Committee meeting where officials will decide what exactly to do with the stone monument that still sits in Watertown Square. Reporting from WCA-TV studio, Dan Hogan, Watertown Cable News.
Daniel, thank you very much. You can watch the full Public Works Committee meeting on WCATV.org under the Government Channel tab.